Welcome! This video will introduce you to the changes and new features in Sage 100 version 2025. We will start with the desktop changes, then move to the global changes. From there, we will talk about the module-specific changes and new features. We encourage you to review the What's New document for more details on the topics. We have over 40 changes or new features, so let's get started. We've streamlined the interface by removing the Resources button from the Web Content tab. Now, access the Sage Community Hub, Knowledge Base, Product Documents, Sage University, and more from the Resources button on the Help tab. This change simplifies navigation and provides a cleaner user interface. For detailed information, visit the Sage 100 Documents page and explore the Administrator and Technical Documentation section. Let's move on to global changes. Sophia is going to tell us about the new accounts receivable change.
Imagine having the freedom to expand your accounts receivable invoice numbers from 7 to 20 characters. Whether you prefer numerics, characters, or a mix of both, this update gives you the flexibility to customize your invoice numbers to perfectly match your business needs. With the new option in Common Information Options, you can easily select the length of your invoice numbers. Plus, we've updated all screens, forms, and reports to accommodate the full 20 characters, ensuring a seamless experience. But that's not all. This update brings several benefits to your business. You'll enjoy enhanced flexibility, allowing you to choose the length of your invoice numbers. Seamless integration means you can easily convert or upgrade from other products that support larger invoice numbers. And with the new conversion utility, your invoicing process will be more efficient than ever. Don't worry about your existing invoice numbers, they won't be automatically converted. However, we've got you covered with a conversion utility that makes the transition smooth and easy. To locate the AR Invoice Expansion Conversion utility, go to File and select Run from the drop-down menu. On the Sage 100 Run program, enter *UTL and click OK. When the Sage 100 utilities list is displayed, select AR Invoice Expansion Conversion Utility and click OK. Once you have changed the invoice number in Common Information Options, this utility will automatically appear if you say yes to converting the existing numbers, though you will not have to select the utility from the *UTL.
I am back to talk to you about the new feature. You now have the option to enable audit tracking for sales orders and purchase orders. This means you can keep a comprehensive audit trail of all changes, deletions, and additions. In the sales order and purchase order options, you'll find new fields like Changes to Track and Track Additions in Detail checkbox, allowing you to select what to track and what level to track. Plus, when you select to track all changes, you'll have access to the new Sales Order Audit Report and Purchase Order Audit Report. A Purge button on the Audit Report provides access to the new Purge Audit Report utility. You can also access the utility on the Utilities menu in each module. In Sales Order Entry and Purchase Order Entry, click the new Audit Viewer button to view changes in the Audit Activity window. This feature is available if you have permissions to the audit report for the module in Role Maintenance.
Hi, Jeremy here to tell you about the next feature in Sales Order Invoice Data Entry. After we package the product and ship the product, it will keep track of the tracking number. Here in Invoice Data Entry, this is the invoice. It's already been shipped. If we go into the tracking dialog, we'll see that we have the tracking number. We've been asking for the ability to copy this tracking number, so we don't have to manually type it into their correspondence. Whether it's a document, an email, or so forth, this tracking number is available in Paperless Office in the email message as it's a token, so we can pull it in if we're using the email messages within Paperless Office. But if we're not and we want an easy way to copy this number, a new button has been added, and this copies the tracking number to the clipboard very easily. And if we go over to my email, I can quickly paste it in. Now that copy button will be available on the Summary Package Tracking inquiry in AR Invoice History inquiry.
There is a Crystal Reports runtime update. The Crystal Reports runtime 64-bit and 32-bit will be updated when installing Sage 100 2025 server or workstation on a machine that has all current prerequisites. This update includes security enhancements, compatibility, performance improvements, and new features.
Genevieve here to tell you about the new Switch View button. In Accounts Payable and Invoice Payment selection, if we click the Select button, we go to the Select Invoices for Payment dialog. In the lower left corner is a Switch button, which toggles between the Grid View and the List View. Use the shortcut keystrokes or icons to right of the grid to select all the invoices, unselect all the invoices, find an invoice, or sort the invoices. You can also hold down the Control key and Shift to select invoices individually, but only in the list view.
If we jump over to Accounts Receivable into Customer Maintenance, let's call up a customer, and on the Statistics tab we've added two new fields, Last Invoice Date and Last Invoice Amount. These fields automatically update when an invoice is posted either through Accounts Receivable, Sales Order, or Job Cost. You have this feature going forward. Conversion is not going to place in the last date and last amount. And as you can see at this point, if I needed to, I could change these values based on a security option. If the security option is turned off, then these will be disabled.
We've also added an option to print extended item description. Let's see how it works. If we have this option set to no and preview a particular item, we see it prints the non-extended version of the description, the 30 characters. If I select to print the extended description and preview it, you'll see that it prints the full description of the item. This option of print extended item description has also been added to all of the sales order forms, such as orders, picking sheets, invoices, and packing lists. This feature is also available in other areas, such as accounts receivables quick print tasks, invoice printing, and invoice history printing.
Genevieve here to talk about the credit hold message. If the customer is on credit hold, a message will display on the cash receipts main panel after we enter the customer. If you discover the customer is not on hold, you can quickly go over to Customer Maintenance and remove the hold by unselecting the checkbox. Returning to our screen, we see the message is now hidden.
Philip here to talk about the new feature in the check, deposit, and adjustment entry task. In the Reconcile Bank task, the columns entered in the Sort Columns window now persist by user. This first example is the Reconcile Bank task, and the sort columns are set at the default setting. We see the sort icon as normal, and if we click on it, the sort columns are empty, meaning the default setting is being used. For the check, deposit, and adjustment entry task, the sort column has been changed to amount. The icon we see is now yellow. If we click on the sort icon, we see the sort column is set to amount, and if we look at the screen, we see it indeed is sorting by the amount. This feature enables each user to select their own default sort columns. Also, in Reconcile Bank, the total amount cleared field has been added on the Checks tab, and the Deposit and Adjustment tab. This field displays the total for all clear entries on each tab. Moving over to Business Insights, let's talk about the new views for quotes available. This sample screenshot shows all the quotes in Company ABC. Notice that the views that are indented underneath each primary view are the secondary views. They are available in the Business Insights Explorer navigation pane when you access the primary view. Please refer to the What's New document for details.
Alana here to let you know that in Account Maintenance under General Ledger, when using the Journal Reversal button to reverse a journal entry, the posting date in General Journal entry will default to the original date of the entry. If the original date is in a closed period, the posting date will default to the current accounting date. On the Additional tab, we've added the ability to enter a universal product code or a European article number. UPC are used within North America and EAN are for international trade. Now these codes are typically 8 to 12 digits and are assigned to products sold outside your business. For example, if you sell your product through Amazon, they will scan the item's UPC into their system. Then if the item is returned, Amazon will use the UPC to trace the product back to your company. So we've added two fields here. The UPC EAN type is a drop box, and it lists 4 of the more common codes that are used. There's also a selection for other, which can be used for the types that we don't support. Now when you select a type, it will validate to make sure that a code has been entered. So if I try to accept this without entering a code, it'll tell me that the UPC is required. If I type in a number, it's going to validate it and check to make sure that the correct number of characters for that form code have been entered. You see it's giving me a message indicating that the length of UPCA must be 12 digits with a check digit or 11 digits without a check digit. Now, in this particular example, the UPCA requires 12 digits with a check digit, or if you don't want to enter the check digit. If you don't know it, then you can enter 11 digits and we will automatically calculate the check digit using the algorithm provided by the GS1, which is an international standards organization that maintains the guidelines for product identification and registration. So that's already incorporated into this feature. Let's say I enter a value with the check digit, but the check digit is incorrect. It will indicate that in a message, it will automatically calculate it. So you'll see here it's calculated to 6, and then it will prompt you and ask if you want to create an alias item UPC EAN number. In this particular case, I'm going to say yes, accept the item. I'm going to recall the item, and then I'm going to jump over to alias item maintenance and show you that the alias item was created for this. If I select Other, this field then becomes a free form field where I can enter a maximum of 14 characters. I can use alphanumeric and no validation will be done, but it will ask you if you want to create an alias for that. If I remove the UPC code, if I change this to none, it will clear the field. The alias item, as soon as you select none, it clears the field, and when you accept it, automatically clears the alias item. Now you can also print the UPC EAN on various forms, such as inventory, labels, sales, orders, invoices. You simply need to add the UPC code to the form. It doesn't default automatically. We add it to the work table, and then you can go into the designer and put it on the form. In this case, I'm going to show you I've already gone into the designer. I've added the UPC to the label form, and I'll show you that I've added it here on the last line, and you'll see that it can be printed. And again, you can add this to other sales order forms and invoices.
The ability to sort by product line has been added to the physical count worksheet in the Sort Report by Field. For the following reports, product line has been added to the Sort Lines by Field. Physical count entry, count card variance register, physical count variance register. This example shows the reports print the sorted by field. Philip here to talk about the next feature we've added, and it is to the inventory trial balance report. And here we've added an option to print items with 0 balances. I've created a document here with the inventory trial balance form. When the option is set to yes to include items with a 0 balance, I've got this particular item, Warehouse 001. There is activity, but the ending balance for quantity on hand is 0, and the ending balance for the dollar amount on hand is 0. Sometimes you're going to get a lot of these records with 0 balances that clutter up the report. If you set the option to print items with 0 balance to no, it will suppress those lines. You can see here in the second version of the report. Warehouse 001 has been removed from the report.
Page here to let you know the checkboxes for Keep Window Open After Print and Keep Window Open After Preview have been added to Inventory Label Printing.
Ava here to introduce an update to the Inventory Requirements Planning inquiry. We've added a new production/purchase quantity column to the detail view, making it easier and quicker for you to access quantity information without having to look it up in the item detail window. Plus, this new detail will also print on the Inventory Requirements Planning report. This update is designed to save you time and streamline your workflow, especially in distribution and manufacturing.
When you print the positive pay export log, it needs to be saved in Paperless Office just like other journals and registers. Therefore, the bank reconciliation positive pay export log document has been added in the following Paperless Office tasks: Journal and Register Maintenance, Journal and Register Viewer, and Electronic Delivery Message Maintenance. When customer or vendor forms are sent through Paperless Office, the form code name is now saved in the PDF log. The form code field has been added in Customer Viewer and Vendor Viewer. In addition, Export to Excel button is found on the following viewers: Journal and Register Viewer, Period and Report Viewer, Report Viewer, Customer Viewer, Vendor Viewer, and Employee Viewer.
Alana here to talk to you about enhancements made to production management. Let's start with a new feature in Activity Code Maintenance that enhances your ability to manage labor costs with greater precision and flexibility. You can now set a standard cost rate per piece and divisor for an activity code, allowing you to calculate budget labor costs more accurately. This update brings the functionality previously available in the Work Order module directly into Activity Code Maintenance. The first key change is the Standard Cost Hour field has been renamed to Standard Cost Rate Hour. The next key change is that 3 new fields have been added to the standard cost area. The Rate Hour field has a divisor field with it. A new field has been added in the same area, Piece Rate, and it too has a divisor field with it. Additionally, on the Work Ticket Transaction Entry Lines tab, we've added the Quantity Completed field to help you track completed quantities more efficiently. Moving over to Work Ticket Template Maintenance, let's go over the improvements. And there are several. First, revision numbers for work ticket templates are now alphanumeric instead of numeric only. Next, the description field has been added next to the revision number field, and we can enter a template description when step 000000 is selected. We see over here to the right of the step number field, the description field has been renamed to step description field. Also, to the right of the description field is the step overview button to view detail step information. Directly above this is the copy from button, which has been enhanced. You can now copy a specific step from a work ticket template or an open or closed work ticket. The copy from button is available when any step is selected. You can also use this feature to renumber a step in a new template that has not been used yet. Moving to the Attachments tab. Attachments are now specific to a work ticket step instead of the entire work ticket template. Step 30 is blank, while Step 40 has an attachment. Next, we see a savings on the number of clicks needed when we click Cancel. The key fields of template number and revision number are available. Finally, to make the budgeting of a step more intuitive, the Calculate Budget checkbox has been added on the Work Ticket Template Maintenance Additional tab. As we see here, select this checkbox to recalculate budget values using the information from the activity code assigned to the step, When the checkbox is selected, the following fields can only be viewed: setup hours, labor cost, and material cost. On the Production Management Options Entry tab, the Relieve Work in Progress on Last Completion checkbox has been added. Select this checkbox to post remaining work in progress to the inventory account when the work ticket is completed, not when it's closed, or clear this checkbox to post remaining work in progress to the work ticket class cost variance account when the work ticket is closed.
Tara here to talk about a feature available in Purchase Order and Sales Order, which I am going to present in Sales Order. If we go to Sales Order Options and then the History tab, we've added a new Cancel Reason Code required when deleting orders and quotes checkbox. Basically, if you are retaining deleted orders and quotes or deleted lines within history, you can now force the user to enter the Cancel Reason Code. And this option functions within Sales Order and within Purchase Order. I'm going to just show you Sales Order. I'm going to go to a Sales Order entry and call up a sales order that I have previously entered. And on this order, I'm going to go to one of the lines, going to select a line, delete it, and it's going to prompt me to enter a cancellation code. Now this functionality is not new, but in the past, we were able to leave this field blank and continue on. However, now it's going to force us to enter a cancellation code. If that option is set to yes, you must enter a cancellation code. This particular line has been deleted. Now I'm going to call up another order, and this time I'm going to delete the entire order. Again, we can't bypass this. We must select the cancellation code. And the reason for the cancellation is it gives us an audit trail or history of what's happened. If I take a look at Sales Order
and Quote History Inquiry,
and I call up the order, you'll see if I go to the line, this is the line that was deleted, and it shows the cancel reason code. So now we are going to be forced to give a reason why it was deleted for audit trail purposes. And then if we take a look at the header, we see the cancellation code has been entered on the header.
Nicole here to tell you about a new feature in Purchase Order. If the Production Management module is integrated with Purchase Order, and if a purchase order is costed to a work ticket, you can now reverse the appropriate work ticket cost and quantities from the work ticket files. To accomplish this, in Purchase Order, Return of Goods Entry Lines tab, the following fields have been added to the secondary grid: work ticket number, work ticket description, step number, and step description. Use these fields to modify the work ticket distribution information for line items on the original purchase order. In addition, you can also enter work ticket distribution information for returns for which there is no corresponding purchase order.
Zach here to talk about the next enhancement. It gives you the ability to create a purchase order quote. Email it to one or multiple vendors using Paperless Office to find the lowest cost for purchased materials. Once the best cost is determined, a purchase order can be generated from the quote.
Nicole here to review the changes made to purchase order entry. On the Header tab, a new quote option has been added in the order type field. When entering a quote, you have the option to determine the unit cost to use for items based on the Select Unit Cost for Quote field in Purchase Order options. When using the Copy From feature, you can copy existing quotes. Quotes sent to vendors are created using the vendor's alias item numbers. Click Generate Order to generate a purchase order from a quote. This feature is available based on the security option Allow User to generate orders from quotes in Purchase Order entry. Follow this path to see the security option. Library Master, Security menu. Enroll Maintenance, select the Security Options tab, and then Purchase Order. Click a new drop-down button next to the Print button to select Purchase Order Printing or Quote Printing. New tasks have been added to Purchase Order main menu. auto-generate orders from quotes and quote printing. Also, the option to print quotes has been added, and the completed status now applies to quotes on the following reports: Open Purchase Order Report, Open Orders by Item Report, Open Orders by Job Report, Purchase Order Recap, and Purchase Order History Report. Changes made to purchase order options include: use default order date when generating purchase order, default days until quote expires, and select unit cost for quote. The following fields have been renamed to include quotes. On the main tab, days to retain completed purchase orders / quotes field. On the history tab, retain purchase order / quote history field. Retain deleted orders / quotes field. Retain deleted lines for orders / quotes field. Finally, a couple of tasks have been renamed on the utility menu to include quotes. Purge completed purchase orders / quotes, and purge expired quotes / master / repeating orders. In addition, the Create Purchase Order History utility now includes quotes when creating records in the purchase order history files. A couple of other modules have had changes made for quotes. In Accounts Payable, quotes display on the Vendor Maintenance POs tab, and you can search for quotes in the Search for Purchase Orders window. In Inventory Management, quotes display on the Item Maintenance Orders tab, and you can search for quotes in the Search for Purchase Orders window.
Alana here to talk about the option added in case you do not want to back order a purchase order when returning an item or an order. On the Return of Goods entry header tab and Lines tab, the Back Order PO checkbox has been added. If a returned item is no longer needed, clear this checkbox so that a back order will not be created for the returned item on the purchase order. On the Header tab, select this checkbox to back order all lines for the purchase order entered in the Purchase Order Number field. Clear this checkbox if you do not want to back order all lines for the purchase order. This field is available only if a purchase order is entered for the return and you have not clicked the Lines tab. After clicking the Lines tab, the setting for this option is applied to all lines except comment lines on the purchase order, and this field is disabled. Note that this option does not apply to any new lines entered. See our example displayed now and note that you can set individual lines to be back ordered by selecting the Back Order PO checkbox in the secondary grid on the Lines tab. If one or more lines are back ordered, the order status changes to back order. In Sales Order, the customer telephone number is now found on the Header tab of the following tasks: Sales Order Entry, Sales Order Invoice Data Entry, Sales Order and Quote History Inquiry, and Accounts Receivable Invoice History Inquiry for sales order invoices. Adding the customer phone number throughout sales order entry allows for us to quickly find contact information on orders, shipping documents, invoices, and quotes, saving time. You now have the option to print the extended item description for regular items, miscellaneous items, charges, and special items on the following sales order forms and their associated quick print tasks: Sales Order Printing, Picking Sheet Printing, Invoice Printing, Packing List Printing, Additional Packing List Printing, Sales Order and Quote History Printing, Barcode Sales Order Printing, Barcode Sales Order Picking Sheet.
Philip here to let you know about a change made in the Visual Integrator module. Our example is in Import Job Maintenance, but it is also found in Export Job Maintenance. You can now enter a descriptive name for temporary fields. On the Data tab, click the Add Temp Field button, and in the New Temp Field window, enter a name of up to 20 characters. Allowing you to add a descriptive name to temp fields in Visual Integrator improves clarity and readability.
Ava here to tell you about the change made in the Visual Process Flows module. On the Visual Process Flows Purchases menu, the request for quote process flow has been added. Use this process flow to create quotes for purchase orders, print or email quotes for one or more vendors, and generate purchase orders.
Philip here to tell you about a general ledger change made when creating a journal reversal through general ledger account maintenance. The posting date in general journal entry will now default to the original date of the entry. If the original date of the entry is in a closed period, the posting date will default to the current accounting period end date, and the existing message will be modified to display the posting date that will be used. This change in how default dates are managed in general ledger will ensure the reverse journal entries will apply to the correct accounting period, increasing accuracy.
Anthony here to tell you about a couple of changes to integrations with Sage 100 2025. The first one is about the Sage Supply Chain Intelligence, SSDI, formerly known as Anvil. You can integrate Sage 100 with SSDI for powerful purchase order management. SSDI bridges the gap between issuance of a purchase order and receipt of goods, providing a cloud-based way to collaborate with suppliers, consolidate shipments, create custom purchase order workflows, and even create and edit purchase orders, and have the data flow back into Sage 100. Use the Sage Supply Chain Intelligence Setup app to perform integration for Sage 100 2025, 2024.2, and 2023.5. For instructions, see Setup Sage Supply Chain Intelligence Integration and help. We also want to let you know that Sage Intelligence Reporting version 8.0 is now available with the Sage 100 2025 release.
Ava here to tell you the following have been retired and are no longer available in Sage 100 version 2025. First, the Microsoft 365 connector and Office 365 contacts are now retired in Sage 100 version 2025. The interface to bring customers onto the connector was removed by Microsoft in April 2024, and these add-ons are no longer available in Sage 100 version 2025. Secondly, S-Data for Sage 100 has been removed and is no longer being maintained or supported. As a result, in role maintenance, the S-Data Security tab has been removed for both subscription and non-subscription versions of Sage 100. Please see the release notes for details on the changes made to accommodate this retirement. Finally, on August 1, 2024, Paya discontinued the creation of vault-only accounts to improve security in payment card industry PCI compliance. In Sage 100 version 2025, vault-only accounts are no longer automatically created. You must have a Paya merchant account to add credit cards for new customers. Please see the release notes for details on the changes made to accommodate this change.